So rising higher, growing deeper. I don't know if you have noticed, but it has been going deeper these last couple of weeks. The month's theme is rolling in the deep, and yes, it feels like that's what's going on. Rolling in the deep, being pummeled in the deep. I mean, I don't know which way it is, you know. But what I love, so love about this teaching, how we can, what is relevant right now, take into our hearts and discover spiritual principles. Last week, we heard a fantastic talk by Reverend Leslie where she introduced us to river dolphins. Okay, I'm just interested. Who knew about that is a thing before last week? I didn't. I didn't know there were river dolphins. And how wonderful to be called into seeing that we can learn from these mammals presence, empowerment, and interconnection. And going with our theme of going deeper, we are going to take a look at that today. We're going to see how our way of being with boundaries can help us to practice the presence, to realize how empowered we truly are, and to become aware of our interconnectedness. And so that is where we are going today. And we're going to start off by realizing that the most important relationship, the most important thing that you are hearing today is what you say to yourself in your head as a response to anything that I say or somebody else says or somebody does. That is the most important thing. And so I am so aware that what we do here, what we spend so much time creating, is a space where we are all invited to listen to that truth at the center of our own being. And so I thought, what better way than to do that right now? And so in a moment, I'm going to ask you, if you're comfortable, to allow your eyes to close. And we do that. Why do we ask so often for you to close your eyes? Because what happens, we filter out this mesmerizing third dimension right here. And we turn to, I think about the iceberg. You know how the iceberg has so much more underneath the surface than above? And so when we close our eyes, we get in contact with that depth at the center of our own being, with sweet spirit. And so if it is comfortable for you, I ask you to close your eyes. And ask yourself with great sincerity, am I ready, willing, and able to fully listen? Remember to breathe. Remember to hold this sacred space and just listen. And then very gently, I invite you to come back into your chair, the awareness of the people around you, the awareness of wherever you find yourself, if you're watching via the online campus, and just come back. If something was revealed to you that you don't want to forget, you can go ahead and write it on those Keep Me sheets. We always leave space on them so we can take note. What was it? What was it that I heard? Am I ready, willing, and able? And if I heard something that said, maybe not quite able because there's this thing, we need to honor that. Write it down and commit to attend to it after the service. You might ask yourself, well, how do boundaries play into that? Boundaries play into this by us creating the space to be with that voice within. Because if we are so busy saying yes to things, engaging, pleasing others, not remembering why am I here, what is mine to do, we fill up that time to listen. And it takes practice. It is amazing to me how I'm sometimes in a space where it takes a lot for me to calm down enough to listen. Now, granted, that could just be me. And that's okay. That's okay. But what I really want us to feel into, when we notice it, when we notice that I do not have the capacity to just be with myself, with this most important relationship, I hope that something rises up that lets us know, perhaps go into nature, dance, listen to music that inspires you, do something to prepare yourself to practice the presence, to even realize that the presence that we talk about is right where we are at every moment. That is how boundaries play into that. Boundaries, of course, is the sum of our yeses and our nos, our honest yeses when somebody asks us something. And I can tell you, working this week with boundaries, have I become aware of some things. I do. I call myself sometimes a recovering people pleaser. And serving as a spiritual leader, you have a lot of opportunity to be with people who want to be pleased. And so I remind myself, let love lead the way. This week, what helped me really to remember is our community song right now, which of course is, love is my... Yes, what else is my decision? How about forgiveness? Forgiveness is... How about showing up here today? How about taking what you hear and applying it in your personal life? My decision. You know, this empowerment talk that we often hear, if we stop and really feel into what all is our decision, we can't help but to realize how empowered we truly are. Decisions that we make every day, every moment, hundreds of decisions. For me, the biggest one is for me to ask myself, am I right here, right now, fully present? That is a decision we make every moment. Empowerment. We can also feel it when somebody asks us a question and we say no. It is a revolutionary experience for some of us to simply say no. And it's hard, isn't it? Sometimes it's really hard because we are inspired. Part of us wants to do it, but deep down we realize it is not mine to do. I want to share an example, and I assure you I have permission to share this, so don't wonder about that. A couple of maybe months ago now, our beloved Rosemary was trying out being part of the stream team, to more specifically be on the slides. You know, that position that whenever one makes a mistake is so visible to everybody. She said, I want to try it out. She tried it out for a couple of times, and then we had an opening for a Sunday where we didn't have somebody, and I went up to her in my engaging way, and I'm like, Rosemary, would you step in next Sunday? And she said, no. I actually want to, she said it, she also explained it more, but she said no. And I want to acknowledge that. Yes. And I said, thank you. Because here is what's really the truth. If we gift our authentic no, it is just as powerful as giving our authentic yes. And it opens up the possibility for somebody else to step in with their enthusiastic and authentic yes. And don't you know, that is exactly what happened. Just a couple of weeks later, Alexandra said, I'm interested in joining the stream team. She shadowed and she said, I'm going to do slides. And so I want to acknowledge Alexandria. It is so important to not fall into that trap that boundaries are a bad thing. We have to remind ourselves that it opens up the possibility. What is ours truly to do, that is where we can give our gifts. And it changes over time. And that's okay. So when you discover somebody who asks you something and you say no, see if they are able to say, thank you, thank you. If not, suggest they watch this talk. No, don't do that, don't do that. That was a joke. All right, so let's review. What are we responsible for? I think we have a slide for that. This is what we are responsible for. My choices, my behavior, my response, my emotions. And that is the one where sometimes people get a little bit off track. They say things like, you made me angry. You made me sad. No, no. Something happened, somebody did something, and that was a response that I am responsible for. Take a breath, beloveds. It is rampant in our world to forget that. even when I feel very, very sad or very angry. And I can look at that, what happened. And I can engage my girlfriends and they will agree with me, right? Still, it is my response to the stimulus that happened that I am responsible for. And nobody says that better than Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl says that between stimulus and response lies a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Now, if you know anything about the life history of Viktor Frankl, he went through the most unimagining pain, a life, many, many, many years in a concentration camp. And even, and perhaps because of that experience, he's so clear that the power over us is not what is happening. The power lies in my response to what is happening. And I have the power to choose. And that is boundary. That is what we need to get clear on, so that we can let go of walking around holding grudges against other people, and rather meet our own self with so much self-love and compassion. And the realization, if we would have known better, we would have done better. And it is so empowering to know that at any time we can go back and make a different decision on how to respond to whatever happened to us. Presence, empowerment. The last point I want to share is awareness of our interconnection. Being in community, how wonderfully aware I am of how we are interconnected, and that we have chosen to be in this beautiful place we call New Vision Center, a thriving community. And how amazing, how much growth opportunity takes place right here, right? Community, it's interesting to me that it is a theme all over the world. Just a couple of days ago, I talked with Jim Lockhart, Dr. Jim Lockhart, who wrote the books Creating the Beloved Community and Being in Beloved Community. He's teaching at the university in France on community, how to be in community. And for me, it's like, well, we're doing it, right? We are doing it. And with this theme, growing deeper, I do feel like there is more opportunity for us to get clearer and take a look at some of the ways how we are in community. I am so grateful that our community members feel so empowered and so safe to come to me and say, you know, that particular thing, how we do that, that is not working for me. And here's why. I love that. I love that we feel that this community is not my community. It's not the ministerial team's community. This is our community. All of us, every person, if this is your first day here with us, or if you have been here for 25, 30 years, this is our community. And to step in and say, I have a voice here, and I am empowered to share the things that I absolutely love and the things that are not working for me. And then together we are looking for solutions. That is the kind of community I want to create and I want to lead. That is the kind of community where every person feels called to step in more because it's safe. Because you matter. Each one of you, here, online, you matter. That doesn't mean this part is not working for me, I would like this, and then expect that to happen. Because I just learned to say no. But we are communicating. We're talking about it. We are making it more and more truly our community. And so what is the invitation for this week? Oh, I think we have one more slide. I do want to show this slide. Don't want to forget it because it's Theo right there, my grandson. Your boundary need not be an angry electric fence that shocks those who touch it. It can be consistent light around you that announces, I will be treated sacredly. Let's hear that one more time and feel the difference. Your boundary need not be an angry electric fence that shocks those who touch it, those who come close, those who want to lean in, those who might not know what your boundary is. It can be a consistent light around you that announces, I will be treated sacredly. As we cultivate the presence within, we learn more and more to radiate how we are treating ourselves and how we expect others to treat us. So the invitation for this week is to contemplate the question, how do I say no when I need to without feeling guilt and without over-explaining? I really invite you this week to notice when somebody asks you something and you have that no rising up within, where you stop it and say, oh, of course, I'd be happy to do that. And I invite you to remember this talk and say, thank you for asking no. I know that this is a great growing edge, and I am so grateful we're doing it together, leaning into one another on this journey we call life. Thank you. And now let's take that all to prayer. Let's take a breath and recognize the allness of life. Sweet Spirit, right here in the center of my being. As I know it is at the center of my being, I know it is at the center of any sentient being, everywhere. And so I speak my word from this place of love and harmony, of joy, of understanding, of open-heartedness, that all people everywhere may find their authenticity, their empowerment. And I speak a word for the New Vision Center to be a place where this can be practiced. All the beloveds who have placed a prayer request into our prayer ministry, I know that these prayers are being prayed over and held up to the light. And so it is with a grateful heart that I simply call this time good and very good. I know that the fruits of this realization ripples out into the world. Thank you, life. And so it is.